What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And today on The Great Debaters, D.O.C, the Funkee Homosapien. Classic. Alright, Amir, so today on The Great Debaters, we're getting into D.O.C, the Funkee Homosapien. I wish my brother George was here, but first, before we get into all of that, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible with as many interviews and great debaters and commentaries and first and 15ths, etc., as possible. So please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one, and we appreciate your support in getting us this far. And if you want to take that next step and support us, hit that join button. That enables you to become a member to Unique Access Entertainment. You get some videos ahead of schedule, exclusive for a little period of time before they go live on the site. You also get some badges and all kinds of other stuff depending on what level you are. So join us as a member. Unique Access Entertainment, please. That helps us in so many ways. Now today, Amir, the great debaters, man, D.O.C, the Funkee Homosapien. I've had the fortune of getting D.O.C on Unique Access. There's the link right there if you haven't seen it yet. We got a lot of segments. So he's just an amazing artist. So I'm glad we're going to talk about I wish my brother George was here today for the great debaters. So Amir, what's your recollections of getting into this project? How, when, and why?
I'd heard this in high school. I know that. I don't know exactly when, but I think it was because I liked D.O.C from what I'd heard him. I'd heard hieroglyphics actually very early on in my listening
Good
career.
Good for you.
Listening life. Yeah, so, and also just the fact that he's related to Ice Cube as well, and on top of that, he had also helped write some Ice Cube songs, among other things, so he was definitely up in my list of listening. And I wish my brother George here. I'm actually shocked we have not done this album yet. That's shocking. But this is my favorite D.O.C, the Funkee Homosapien album. As a solo project, this is my favorite one. I know a lot of people...
Me too.
That makes me happy, because I know a lot of people say No Need for Alarm is his best, which is also a dope album, but this is definitely my favorite, and it's awesome. And one of the reasons why is my first pick, Miss Dabalina. So this is actually one of the first music videos that I had seen, and I hadn't seen it in years, so I don't really remember exactly what goes on in it.
You mean first music video ever you saw?
No, one of the first ones I'd ever seen, like from recollection, and it's also the first D.O.C video I'd ever seen. And I'd seen like Souls of Mischief 93 to Infinity around this time too. But as far as D.O.C, this is the first video I'd seen. And Miss Dabalina, I thought was such a weird song when I first heard it. I'm like, who's Miss Dabalina? Who's bobbed up? Like, I was just very confused. And as you listen to D.O.C as you go through his career from the early 90s up until now and all in between, he has a very abstract, different type of way of recording music, writing his rhymes, the people he works with, all of it. Like, he's just his own person. And Miss Dabalina is also the vinyl right behind us right here, the purple cover, and we also have this UK cover, which is just a slightly different color, which is interesting. But also, the thing that's interesting is not only D.O.C's writing, but on top of that too is just the way he approaches things. As we've heard songs of similar concepts go about it in different ways, and for D.O.C to make a person Miss Dabalina, Miss Bob Dabalina, and have that sample is awesome. And then obviously the popular line, which many people reference just because it's so catchy and so awesome. He says, "Fraudulent foe, the strength Hercules, the way on my dick must really hurt your knees." It's just awesome, especially since you don't really hear D.O.C curse or say much profanity. It's just awesome to just hear him go in on that. But I mean, he's just, saying like, stop with the fraudulent behavior and all this. He calls them clowns, jesters, etc. And I just think D.O.C is very creative in the way he writes. And this was definitely, as an intro to D.O.C, was really, really, really kind of setting me up to what I'd hear for years to come. Also, one thing I want to mention is the B-side, or one of the extra tracks on this vinyl single, which I have here, is Burnt, which has some members of the Hieroglyphics on it. So
yes,
make sure to check out Burnt, because as you'll see, there are songs that didn't make the albums that are really good, and Burnt, make sure to check that one out for sure. Soren, what's your pick?
Before I get to that, on Burnt, Casual in particular, who always does a great job in this era in particular, is so good on Burnt. So Shout out to Casual.
Shout out.
Interviewed him, of course, on Unique Access, so check that out as well. But Mr. Dabalina, not surprisingly, is one of my picks too for my pick on I Wish My Brother George Was Here. Dude, this beat is just so mesmerizing. It's like, it's so festive and catchy and fun. And then I don't recall Fraudulent being used so many times in rap history as it is on this one song, probably from the rest of rap up until Mr. Dabalina. So that was cool. Like, I just always like it when rappers are able to make great songs and include unusual words in them and make them kind of a centerpiece. And throughout the album, Fraudulent is definitely one of Dell's favorite words during this era because it's throughout I Wish My Brother George Was Here. Fraudulent is probably one of the more used words on the album, especially of the unusual words. So I was a big fan of that. The chorus is amazing, and the feel of the song, it's like, it's not a super fast beat, but it feels like it's propulsive and fast, and it just has a good energy to it, which I loved. And the fact that it's a single, I think, is great because it's clearly one of the best songs, at least according to Amir and me. So for all those reasons, man, Mr. Dabalina, his delivery, his style, his vocabulary, just everything about it, and dealing with, you know, we've all been frustrated by the clowns and the fraudulent foes. So, you know, we can all relate to that. So that's my first pick on I Wish My Brother George Was Here. Amir, what's your second pick?
And also the saxophone, I forgot about that. I mean, that was awesome throughout the song and the end in particular. My second track, man, it was between this one and a few others. My third pick is for sure in my top three. I'll leave that for last. But this one, it's tough, but I'm going to go with Dark Skinned Girls. So this is another dope one. And also, shout out in case I ever forget, but shout out to the production here on throughout this album. Boogeyman, Ice Cube, Del himself. Wow.
It's amazing.
We're blessed. In 1991, we're especially blessed.
It was an amazing year in rap history. Amazing.
Amazing year. So, Dark Skinned Girls here. Del, I mean, it's super interesting, and there's a few reasons why. One, because the song Dark Skinned Girls, you just see the title, and you're like, okay, well, what's this going to be about? You assume it's going to be bigging up the Dark Skinned Girls, right? And it is, from Del's perspective. And it's... the way he approaches the matter is very interesting to me because not only is he upping the dark-skinned girls, but he's also saying, like, well, you can't get with me, you don't have enough copper tone, hey, lighty, tap the skin, or tap the shoulder of the dark-skinned girl to get her attention because I'm into her and I'm not into you. So it's like he's burning them in that instance. But also, another thing that's interesting about it is the fact that you have Ice Cube on here, who's kind of playing the antagonist to Del.
The foil.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's basically saying, like, no, I disagree with you. I prefer the light-skinned girls. Yeah, he's saying, I disagree, homeboy. And he's saying, like, why he thinks in very brief, because he's not, like, an official feature. He's just, like, helping out in the chorus and some lines here and there. But it's also interesting because Ice Cube was just doing that just to cause, like, a little controversy within the song. I mean, he, at this time, was... I don't know if he was married to Kim, but he, at that point, his current fiance, he was with her. And, you know, that's interesting. And also on top of that, you'd see 2 years later, Ice Cube would have on Lethal Injection, he'd have the song Cave Bitch, which is a very, very, very aggressive version of Dark Skinned Girls. Well, actually, it's not, because it's just attacking.
I was going to say, I don't think it is. I don't think it is, Amir.
So, anyways, you hear Ice Cube giving this part kind of like for comedic relief as well as just to kind of like ruffle the feathers a little bit, whereas you kind of hear a very different side on that song on Lethal Injection. But Dark Skinned Girls, I think Del, the way he's going about his rhymes, the way he's doing all that, although it is kind of a controversial track, that I think he has a very interesting way and clever way of writing his rhymes. And Dark Skinned Girls, I also really enjoy the instrumental on it. So that's my second pick.
So for my second pick on I Wish My Brother George Was Here, I'm going to go with not Dark Skinned Girls, even though I think it's a great song. I'm going to go with Dr. Bombay. And Dr. Bombay is... the funk is so prominent and dominant throughout I Wish My Brother George Was Here. and George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic, James Brown, all kinds of stuff is heavily used throughout I Wish My Brother George Was Here. And it's just Dr. Bombay, the feel of the song and how they bring in the samples. And Del, it just sounds like this song was fun to make because of how Del sounds on it and the feel and the energy of the music. And then they're bringing in the different samples and they're changing things sonically. Del seems to just be like going off Dr. Bombay. You know, it's just like a fun feel song. And for that reason, I really like it. I think lyrically, some of the other songs, quote unquote, maybe different, better, more interesting or whatever. But like for me, Dr. Bombay is good. Like Pissing on Your Steps. Like he takes shots at Vanilla Ice throughout the album and the Fraudulent Foes and all this different stuff throughout I Wish My Brother George Was Here and Wacky World of Rapid Transit. Some of these other songs that are really good. But for me, it's just the feel and the energy of Dr. Bombay, while not as lyrically, you know, innovative as far as the, oh, he's got this crazy concept of Rapid Transit or Dark Skinned Girls or whatever it is. I just like the feel of the song and just the energy and the vibes of it. So that's why I like Dr. Bombay so much. You have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, well, one, I have the vinyl right here as well. Dope song. But then on top of that, one thing I also want to mention, just like we had mentioned with Miss Dablina, we do have a B-side here, Eye Examination, which is not on the album. So please make sure to listen to that. That's another dope cut. And Dr. Bombay, like you said, it is fun. I do enjoy it as well. It's not my third pick, though. My third pick would be actually a different single, which I also have right here. And if you haven't guessed it already, Sleeping on My Couch. This is, I remember actually after listening to Miss Dablina, this one was in like the recommended section of YouTube, so I clicked on that right after. And then I was like, dude, this song is awesome too. And man, Sleeping on My Couch. Talk about, and we were just talking about how Del has a very interesting way of writing, and among other things, Del is also, he's not too cool for the microphone, he's not too cool for the crowd, he's not too cool for the world, very down-to-earth guy, clearly at least through his raps, that he's making a song that is 100% relatable. We've been there with a friend who may have overstayed their welcome. I mean, Del said he was taught to never take 7-day naps. I always thought that was just hilarious. Then he says, like, you know, it's even like the little things in life that people, they just kind of assume that like rappers or artists or athletes or whatever, they live like this glamorous life where they don't have inconveniences. They don't have these things, you know, going wrong. They only have good days. Whereas Del's saying, no, man, this guy came over and he ate all my Apple Jacks.
Yeah.
Oh, this person spilled something on my couch. How am I going to explain that to my mom? Like these little things that it's like, damn, like I went through all of these things growing up and I still go through like these inconveniences, and something just as simple as sleeping on my couch, someone over saying they're welcome, maybe playing too much on the Sega Genesis, maybe doing this or that. I think it's really, really, really clever. And then you have like the chorus, get your lazy butt up off my couch, like all that. It's like kind of catchy. It's just such a good song. And I think Del, again, proves that he is like a man of the people. He's someone who is not above like the inconveniences of daily life that we all go through, but we don't advertise. And I think Del is just really genius for making a song like this. And I just think it's just an awesome track to show his penmanship as well as like his awareness. So big shout out to Del. That's my last pick.
Sleeping on My Couch is also my third pick. It's I think an amazing song in the relatability aspect, and this one with kind of the faux, you know, Motown-esque singers coming in, like Amir was saying on the chorus, I thought was hilarious. And they're not screaming at you, they're like, get your lazy butt. It's kind of like, are they mad, or are they just saying it matter-of-factly, or are they just defeated at this point because you've been on the couch for 7 days? Like, what's going on? I thought it was hilarious. But then also, like Amir was saying, just to echo that, I do think throughout I Wish My Brother George Was Here, Del really comes off as like your friend next door. He's not this super lyrical mastermind guy that you gotta use the dictionary and decipher all this stuff. He's not the super gangster dude that's killing 3 dudes. He's not pimping, and he's got all this other stuff, even though he's got some of that type of material that he addresses throughout I Wish My Brother George Was Here. But he seems like more like a normal dude in the sense that he could be that guy down the street or that you go to school with. He's not the drug dealer. He's not all these other, you know, more oversized, bigger than life personalities. But in that way, he becomes a bigger than life personality because he is the coolest dude that is at your school that's a little unorthodox. And that's why Sleeping on My Couch, I think, resonates with me so dramatically, because this is an everyday thing that everybody goes through. And it's something that, you know, whether you're super rich or super poor, you felt this way, like Amir was saying. And I think that's what Del does brilliantly throughout Sleeping on My Couch and throughout I Wish My Brother George Was Here. It's just a very relatable, fun thing of dealing with, you know, taking public transportation, friends sleeping over, you know, colorism, all these different things that Del addresses. You know, what do women want you for? What are they in relationships for? You know, money for sex, all these different things that are addressed throughout I Wish My Brother George Was Here. I just think adds up to a brilliant album. So, you guys got my 3 picks. You got Amir's 3 picks. As always, hit us in the comments section. Let us know what you think about your top 3 picks on Del the Funkee Homosapiens. I Wish My Brother George Was Here. A brilliant project from 1991. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Like our content. Share it. Do all that type of stuff. And of course, please join us as a member on Unique Access Entertainment. That really helps the cause, helps Amir, and it helps me. And we appreciate it. As always, I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, hey.
Great debaters, y'all. And shout out to Del. Masterpiece. I Wish My Brother George Was Here.
In the beginning, hip-hop was ruled by the East Coast. Then the West Coast rose to prominence, thanks to gangster rap.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Hip-hop changed the world. Gangster rap changed the narrative.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
And then changed the world again.
Cause I'll come and take your life away.
The history of gangster rap features unheard stories, unseen photos and documents, all with exclusive interviews from the founders and players who shaped gangster rap.
I think a real gangster rapper has to scare you a little bit.
The history of gangster rap written by veteran rap journalist Soren Baker. In stores now.
Yo, what up? This is DJ Quick. Be sure to pick up my homeboy Soren Baker's book, The History of Gangster Rap, if you really want to know what we do.